Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad Jeans.
I stopped recording like halfway through, so I just started a new file.
Great. Okay, that's my only question. Okay, then we're ready to go.
That's my only answer.
Oh, that's great. I forget what my question was, but I'm glad.
I'm going to start out professional right off the bat. Welcome, everybody. We are Dad Jeans.
We are.
I am Jeffrey Dinsmore, the ubiquitous, single-named, monosyllabic Jeffrey Dinsmore. It's just, I've changed it to just one name.
Right, yes. For a while there, I remember your name was just a font, so it could be any word, but just with particular serifs.
I was trying to get out of my contract with Warner Brothers.
Right, yes. So anytime anyone used Benguiat Frisky, they were actually identifying you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which got you caught up in some civil cases, I remember, that you didn't mean to be a part of, and that was probably a nightmare.
You know what? It was all good for my brand.
Oh, well, hey, I mean, is there bad publicity? Nay.
There is none. And who are you, sir?
I'm the font Benguiat Dingbats.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Benguiat Dingbats would actually not be, if I were in the market for a nom de plume.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, or maybe Zapf Dingbats, although wasn't that in The Crying of Lot 49, wasn't there a Zapf Dingbats character?
I'm sure, yeah, at the old turn in taxis.
Yeah, the ZAPF. And I must have told the story in Dad Jeans about the woman with the Crying of Lot 49 trumpet tattoo that I identified. I'm sure I must have by now.
I'm sure you did. I wonder if... oh, wait. Did you say your name yet?
Oh,
besides
no, I dodged it. My name is Brendan Hughes.
Great. Excellent. Yes, and we are Dad Jeans.
We are Dad Jeans.
But I worry now with all this conspiratorial thinking out in the world that, like, these fun conspiracy-focused things that we loved from the 70s, like, were they the tip of the iceberg? Are they as much fun anymore in this world?
No, we all have to think rationally now. The fucking right wing took conspiracies from us, and conspiracies were so fun, and now they are so fucking stupid because stupid people found the nightclub. You know, Jeff, you open a nightclub and it's really fun, and then as soon as stupid people find it, you might as well fucking burn it to the ground.
That's exactly right. Yep.
I'm angry.
We're the limelight in 2002.
Oh, sure. Or the
is what we are.
Man Ray in Boston on 80s night.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Although stupid people never found that place, thank God.
No. Oh, I have a friend coming in to visit me. Elijah Dinsmore.
Elijah.
How are you? Do you want to say hello on Dad Jeans? Come on over and say hello into the microphone.
Hello.
Hello.
Say hello out there in Radio Land, all my friends listening to us. This is Elijah Dinsmore on the 9s and 5s. He's not doing that. He's backing away.
He's really
Brendan,
grown up. He's grown up, Jeff. The kids, they sprout, don't they?
He's a big kid. He's a tall boy.
Let me ask you this: how tall a guy are you?
I am 5'11".
I fucking hate you. I hate you for being 5'11".
I push that to 6 though.
Oh, do you?
At times, just to feel better about myself.
Right.
I want to be 6'2". 6'2" is the ideal height.
Oh yeah, it certainly is. I as a man who's 6'1", I always feel like I should be 6'2".
You're just reaching for the gold star.
Whenever people ask me how tall I am, I say 6'1", and then they laugh, and I'm like, "Yep, that's my life."
That's tall.
Yeah.
How tall are you actually?
Fucking 5'8" if I lay down all day.
5'8". Okay, if you stretch out.
I'm the exact height that people are like, "Oh, he doesn't need a raise," or he's not really the marrying type.
But you could also be also, but you're not short enough to have a Napoleon complex.
Right, exactly. I'm exactly
if you were like
inoffensive.
2 inches shorter, you would be like bullying your way through the world. But
yeah,
no,
I'm just invisible.
Wow.
People
I'm sorry, friend.
People literally bump into me because I'm 5'8", and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea you were there," and I'm like, "I know because I'm 5'8".
I didn't. I'm sorry. I treat you like I would a piece of gum on the sidewalk.
Everyone does. Are you kidding? Everyone does. Emily is also 5'8", but she treats me like I'm 5'8", and I'm like, "You're 5'8" too," and she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm 5'8", but I'm a woman."
Yeah, she's tall.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
of Emily as being
She's
very
like
tall.
She's like, I'm strutting it. I got this.
Right, yeah.
You pathetic fuck, who's exactly the same size, so much so that we can share clothes, are a mess.
A nightmare. Do you share clothes?
Sure.
Why not?
Why not? I steal her shit all the time.
It's COVID. Anything goes.
Mostly her underwear.
Well, of course.
I think I just said the quiet thing loud.
I don't, whatever you're getting up to in your quarantine days, it's fine with me.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You got to find weird shit.
Yes, you got to get into super weird shit. I read this thing. Okay, can I start out super gross?
Shit, yeah.
So, Slate magazine has like sex advice column, which it's such clickbait, but of course I always click on it. Because their headlines are just like, you're just like, oh, homina.
Yeah. It's like trepanning, right? You create a hole in a person's skull and then have sex with it.
Oh, yes. I think this episode's over. I don't want to think about whatever you just said.
I made it up. I hope I made it up.
The part where you have sex with the hole. Trepanning, of course, is a real phenomenon, ladies and gentlemen. And we encourage all of our Dad Jeans listeners to get trepanned. Because it really opens up the world in a way you wouldn't expect.
I think my grandfather had to trepan someone on a submarine in World War II.
Of course. It was just, and they could taste colors after that.
Smell numbers. This lasagna is so 14.
Oh, now we have another episode title. Okay, so... I'm typing that down. So this man wrote in and he said, my wife and I are into the cuckolding scene, which is when you enjoy watching your partner have sex with another partner.
Oh, well, sure.
I think it's all like, you can't be a woman cuck. You have to be a male cuck, right? Like women,
yeah.
Women watching their partner have sex with another person that's just sex.
And there's there's been millennia of such humiliation for so long for women.
Right.
It's like there's nothing fetishistic about it. It's just horrible. They find out terrible things about their animal men.
Exactly.
Run around on them.
Exactly. So this couple, they're having a hard time getting into their cuck fantasies during COVID. So they've come up with a fun alternative, which is the guy freezes his semen and then takes it out of the freezer later, and his wife watches him eat it.
Whoa!
It just hurt to even say that.
I have a name for that. I have a name for it. You want to know what it is? I just came up with a name for it. That's called Tide Potting.
Tide potting. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I just a frozen little detergent morsel.
Yeah, froze a little spermsicle.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I can't.
It's the episode of Sons, because look at what this kid's doing. He built
hello, Oscar.
He built this race boat without instructions, and he's pretty darn proud of it.
What? Are you kidding me?
I put missiles inside.
Oh, he put missiles. He's weaponized it now. All right, bye. Close the door. I love you. See ya.
Your son is a Lego master.
I want to tell you about my son. My son's very funny joke last night. But what else about this guy eating his own frozen situations?
That's it. You need to know more about that?
I want to know everything. So does he put
what temperature would he keep the freezer?
Yeah, what's the point at which it freezes? Does he use an ice cube tray, or do they do fun shapes?
Okay, here's just like one slightly more disgusting.
And how do you harvest it? I don't know. I actually don't want to know anything.
Was he just putting it in the freezer to preserve it, and then later he'd let it sit out until it got to room temperature?
Oh, right. So that it has the maximum. I can't have too many.
Too many things.
And then are they in the middle of flagrante delicto? And he's like, "Wait, hold on." And then he goes out to the kitchen And like the kids are like, "What's happening, Daddy?" "Well, still taking naps, kids. Keep watching Space Goofballs." And then he runs back into the roots through the freezer and runs back and is like, "Okay, I'm back here." Crack. I don't know. I just can't picture the. Well, maybe they make it romantic. You look. Hey, marriage. Marriage is a weird planet, and everyone has their own.
Yes, it's true. But I think, Brendan, part of the answer to your question that you just proffered,
poised.
What poised? Yes, there you go. You just poised that question. Is that this is an activity of people who have no children. There are no children sitting in the living room watching Barney while this guy's freezing his chode.
Yeah, because there's too much production involved in this.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
You have to have the run of the house.
Yeah, because you had to hit upon the idea of freezing the sperm in the first place, which is, that's not something you do in the scant seconds you have between getting interrupted by your children. That takes a lot of planning. You got to sit down with a whiteboard and whiteboard this one out.
Exactly, and like Rube Goldberg it out. Really, I mean, like you have to be doing this while it seems like you're chopping onions or something like that. Like how in the time of COVID could anyone possibly do that harvesting? I have no idea.
There's no sperm harvesting. Tell us about Oscar's joke.
Oh, last night. So many months ago, as I've discussed on Dad Jeans in the past, we were all talking in my family about what is the most important virtue for a human being that we each, and we were just sort of taking a straw poll of each of us. Emily said nice or something. She wants somebody nice. I can't remember what she said. Although if I were a good husband, I would remember what she said.
Yeah. Like I don't know what the fuck what she was talking about.
Yeah. Oscar said some bullshit. I'm the only one who remembers. I only remember what I said. But anyway, Oscar said nice, maybe, or whatever. And then I said, I think a person should be funny. And then Oscar's personality instantly changed forever.
Okay.
As soon as I said that, because he has been really working on being a funny person, and it's really starting to work. It's crazy. This kid like has some great shit. So last night I was standing at the toilet and pitch dark. But I had my phone because peeing when you're 45 takes a long fucking time. So I had my phone and I was in the middle of like a long profile article on the New Yorker while I'm waiting to finish peeing.
Okay.
And I'm wrapping it up, and I'm finally done, and I hear a whole other stream of pee start, and so I flip my phone over and I reveal that my son somehow has like creeped up and stood next to me and also begun peeing into the same bowl at the same time. And I was like, how long have you been there? And he said, 2 hours. I was like, that's fucking great. That's pretty good. That's a joke a grown-up would make. That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So anyway, I was very proud of that.
I'm proud of that too. I thought you were going to tell us about a joke that took 2 hours, which is more. That's what my son Eli would tell.
Oh, right. And then Grover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a horse, and it came in and jumped on the elf, and the elf said, oh fuck, I'm so, the aristocrats. Shit. God damn it. I was trying to pull that out of my head, and I was vamping to try to get to the aristocrats.
Oh, right.
And at the end there, I could have done that much more smoothly.
Oh, right.
We'll edit that in post, right?
Files or nails.
Yeah. Yeah, you can edit that in post, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, my intro thing that I want to say real quick, which I think this may be controversial. This may be an unexpected dad versus dad moment.
May indeed.
Fuck the Democratic National Convention.
Wow.
I'm just okay. It's not. I didn't watch much of it. I watched a couple of speeches.
Uh-huh.
But even Michelle Obama's speech, which everyone thought was amazing, it was fine. I thought. I mean, it was good. It was a good speech. Sure, it's great. But just the entire normalcy of this affair, and like seeing all this money going into production values to create this thing during like this time of massive unemployment, and the virus wiping out people left and right. I understand that this is it's a convention. It is literally a convention. It is a ceremony that you go through every 4 years. But it just felt so archaic to me. The whole process of like, we're going to do 3 nights of televised entertainment for your enjoyment. And we're not going to convince anyone. We're just going to like give our speeches to the people who during this moment have the luxury of being able to tune in to a Zoom TV show for 3 nights in a row. Like it just, all of it just felt so like, I'm like, why are we fucking doing this, man? Like, I hope that it convinced some people. I don't know who we're reaching, who's watching. People have, I told my friend Jay all this, and he was like, that Michelle Obama speech, it's everywhere today. Like, people are seeing it everywhere. Like on Fox News, they said that it was a good speech. Like it could change people's minds. I'm so cynical at this point. I'm just like, who is there left to change? Like you haven't seen through fucking Donald Trump's bullshit at this point in your life. Like what? There's no inspirational Wings of the Eagle speech that's going to fucking change your mind.
That is probably true. Anyone who right now can't decide between Nazi authoritarianism and how things were roughly 5 years ago is completely retarded.
Yes, and maybe there's a way to like reach those people, but a Zoom television program, which I don't even know where it is because I don't have cable. I don't know how you watch this fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Like it's very unclear. It's like it's something that's filtering through the air out there. I'm like, is anyone who needs to get their mind changed paying attention to this?
But that presumes that anyone could ever change their mind in the United States, which I don't think an American mind has been changed since 1620.
No, I think there's a couple thousand. There's probably a couple thousand people out there who are anything is possible in America, Brendan. And I think it's possible that there are a couple thousand people
in Wisconsin
who could potentially change their minds. Yeah, exactly.
Every time I've been to Wisconsin, I've been like, these are the nicest people in the world. And I think I could give them a hard pitch on something and they'd be like, I'm going to go Google that.
Well, that's that you could be the Music Man.
Right. Was he always telling people to Google things?
Yeah, I think so. That's Music Man 2020.
Yes.
In a strange new world, one man is keeping the music alive.
I feel differently about the Democratic Convention.
Yes, tell me.
I felt we tuned in, and the way we found it was like, we had to Google Democratic. Remembered it was happening, but popped into our. It's like, isn't it happening this week? Google Democratic Convention. We're brought to the website. Hit the button that said "Watch Live." That brought us to another page, which had actually a YouTube. Oh no, that brought us to another page that had a thing that looked like you hit play, but then that actually populated the YouTube live link video. Then we hit that. Then that brought us to YouTube, and then we watched it.
Jesus fucking Christ! Even that, like, who's doing that?
I know.
Who's doing that?
Only diehards.
You have to want to really, really, really watch the Democratic National Convention to go through that process.
Exactly. I had to hunt it down like a bloodhound.
Right. Okay.
But it was. I have two reactions to what you said. One is that because I might have watched more of it than you did, so I got sucked into.
Oh, you absolutely did. Yeah. I watched none of it.
Okay, so I got sucked into the flow. It was extreme. As a member of the choir, what it preached was actually quite lovely. And you spend your time, you're watching, and you're like, these are such rock solid arguments, and I have all the feels and. Rep Lewis and all this, just they're showing the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and then they're showing the small business farmer with the red nose from drinking, who's like, I voted for Trump in 2016, but then the Chinese tariffs and the soybeans, and now I'm voting for Biden, and you're like, well, maybe this thing's going to happen. And so you feel, I was caught up in the emotion, and they were able to convey the same amount of emotion that the usual rah-rah convention does. Maybe not the same, but close, like an approximation that was so close that I was taken aback by what they were able to achieve.
And that made you feel as if maybe they can also fix our country.
Yeah.
The people who can fix the programming can fix the country.
Yeah. That's well put. Yeah, it was slick. It was really put together. Julia Louis-Dreyfus on the fourth night was doing straight up like comedy bits between each thing, which was really funny and really great. She had a bunch of delicious zingers, and because Fox News and the right wing is refusing to pronounce Kamala Harris's name correctly, she kept calling Mike Pence Mike Poonce. Or Mike
good.
Pence
That's
Mike
funny.
Poonce. Right. There's some genuinely funny stuff. And she was like, Joe Biden goes to church so often he doesn't need any tear gas to get there. Things like that. It was great. So there's some good shit. Obama gave a rock solid speech. Joe Biden, like, the bar was very low for him, and so everyone was like, "That was amazing because it was fine." You know what I mean? Like, for my taste, he was a little bit angry, and he's not necessarily an orator, but they very skillfully did this thing where they revealed that he had a stutter when he was a kid finally, because I was like, this guy trips over his tongue all the time. Someone, please make sure everyone knows, beyond some article in the fucking like Lancet or some shit or the Atlantic 6 months ago mentioning he had a stutter. Like, they need to foreground this. And lo and behold, they did. They found this 13-year-old kid who I'm sure you've seen in the news now who gave the big speech. He stuttered on all the perfect words too. Like, he was like, "I'm Johnny McGillicuddy from New Hampshire, and I like Joe Biden because fucking I have a and then he like he stuttered on the word stutter, and I was like, boy, that's a $1 million moment, right? That is box office gold that he stuttered on the word stutter. You know what I mean? Which could be coincidence. I don't know. In any case, like the whole thing, and then everyone in their cars, they did the whole thing with code right. I felt like they got, for what they had on their hands, they kind of got it right. But here's my other reaction to what you said. The foreground, like, there's all this shit that goes on behind the scenes of the DNC where they decide on the party's platform and they make sausage and all this stuff, and that is what they should have televised, because that is where the rubber meets the road, or at least there could have been a stream where people who wonks like us or like political junkies could watch, and they could watch as, like, certain weird shit happens, like the oil and gas industry somehow suddenly they remove a part where they decide to execute all the CEOs of the oil and gas industries and replace them with Muppets, and you're like, I thought that was a good policy. How did that just get removed? And like, whose surrogate made sure that happened? And then you learn like who's who in the Democratic Party, who are the dinos, who are the progressives, etc.
Yes, and that would also be evidence of a commitment to transparency, which is, we need those kinds of major fucking changes. Like, I don't need good TV. Like, we've had 4 years of good TV. Say what you will about the Trump administration, it's riveting television.
Amen, brother.
Like, we don't need more of that. I don't need to know that they can produce something well. Like, that's not been a question. Like, you watch the 2016 Democratic convention, you compare that to this fucking nightmare world that the Trump people put forward, and you're like, night and day. It's obvious the Democrats are going to win. Like, these people can't even fucking stock a buffet table, like, like it was absurd how terrible the Republican National Convention was, and it didn't fucking matter. So that's why I'm just like, this year I'm like, good on ya. I mean, I actually thought, I watched Joe Biden's speech. I actually thought it was quite good, and maybe it is because my expectations were low, but I feel like, that thing we were talking about last week, like, we just want Grandpa to come in and be like normal
and be
like,
decent, right? It's a referendum on decency.
Yes, and I thought he got that across, and he proved also, like, I do find him, like, I don't buy into the whole Republican narrative is that he's senile,
right?
I don't buy into that, but I do find him speaking to be cringeworthy often, and this was not cringeworthy, and that was nice. Yeah,
that's true. There was a sense of he has all the right ideas in the right place, and I feel like he's just going to be one term anyway. So he comes back, recalibrates the system, and Bob's your uncle. So and all these people on fucking Instagram and all these fellow Bernie crats are like, Joe Biden, blah blah blah, and you're like, not now. Save it for November 4th. Save it.
Yes, and it's just not him. It's not about him. Like, we saw that in this convention, which I thought, what one thing I do appreciate about it is that this is fucking a group of people. This is a group of people versus one man. Like, that's what we're trying to get across right now. Like, how do you actually get things done? You need a group of people doing different jobs.
Yeah.
We're hiring an administration. We're not hiring a dictator. That's like the distinction that needs to be made very, very clear,
Yeah.
And like people, even like I see on Facebook, people who are Trumpers are like all of their passion goes into Joe Biden because they can only imagine a world in which you're voting for a single person who will rule it all. And
right.
That's the problem. That's exactly the problem, is that that's not what a president should fucking be. He should be a great middle manager. That's what a president should be.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Who's like a sort of a, what do you call those things? Servant leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the name of the gentleman who is in the subject of the documentary, I Am Not Your Negro?
Oh, James Baldwin?
James Baldwin had an amazing quote that I came across yesterday. I was like, holy shit, that's it. Where he said, people hold on to their hate because if they didn't, they would have to face their pain.
Ooh, yes. That's so true. And that, like, I don't know when we're going to talk about this, but I really want to talk about all this conspiratorial thinking. Real quick. Let me just say this, and then we'll get into our first segment, Grave New World.
Yes.
Is that I'm just seeing like all this QAnon bullshit going on, and like I want to know more about the psychology of that. Like what you just said seems entirely accurate, that these people have enabled evil. And they know it at some subconscious level, and they can't accept it, so they have to retreat into fantasy. That's like why conspiracy is blowing up on the right.
Oh, interesting. Like because by allowing a reality star to take the wheel, they've opened Pandora's box.
They just can't handle what they've done. Like I think they deep down are deeply, deeply ashamed of what they have done. And what this man is doing to the country, and the only way to justify it to themselves is to create a fantasy.
And they have to double the evil on the other side. They have to be out-eviled by their imagined other side of these.
Yes.
Like that tweet I sent you where that guy said, hey, elite pedophiles of the world, watch out because the stupidest people we all went to high school with are hot on your trail.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, the good news about the Proud Boys and the Q dummies is that we can outrun them and we can outsmart them.
Yeah, hopefully, but I don't know if smarts matters anymore.
Not in the United States. I know. Stupid wins because stupid is so appealing for some fucking reason. Because if you're stupid and you're my president, then it's okay that I'm stupid. Everyone called me stupid, but look at the president. Or I don't know, something that,
Well, because I'm still angry at that kid who I kicked his ass in 3rd grade, and now he's a famous, successful gay sculptor.
Right, exactly.
And look at his fucking life. Why does he get that? And I got laid off from the.
He's eating $45 entrees, and
this guy.
And
okay, shall we move into our first segment?
Oh,
Grave New World.
Grave New World.
We're all gonna die 'cause it's a grave new world. It's a never-ending shit show, and we're all gonna die. It's a grave new world.
Grave New World. This is Brendan and Jeffrey talking about this horror show that is around us. Oh, it's exactly like what we did in the intro.
It was kind of a good segue to come out of the fuck show of life and come into the fuck show of life. And there's more after this. I mean, what are we supposed to do, Jeff? Though we are for our listeners canaries in a coal mine, are we not?
We're canaries and surrogates. We're surrogates in a coal mine.
Surrogate canaries in a coal mine.
Giving birth to someone else's canaries in a coal mine.
If I,
what we're doing.
Given the choice, I would rather pass a canary.
That is true. That is true.
In ancient Rome, by the way, when people woke up really hungover, like just brutally hungover, they would deep fry a canary and eat it.
Really?
Yep.
Does it work?
I don't know. I've never tried, but I'd like to.
Huh. That sounds like something you would learn at the Museum of Jurassic Technology.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea where I came across that, but I've always been like, well, this sounds like it would probably work.
Yeah, we'll try it next time.
Yeah.
It's singing sweetly in your belly. So my grave new world is that school has started. School started this week.
Very grave.
Hazel's fine. Hazel is in 4th grade. You'll remember, Brendan, that my children go to an immersive Spanish language school. They are in a program where they are in Eli's grade, in kindergarten and 1st grade, 90% of their day is in Spanish. And actually, since it's on Zoom, 100% of their day is in Spanish, because the teacher is speaking Spanish the entire time. Eli has had 1 year of Spanish in kindergarten. We don't speak Spanish. He doesn't speak Spanish. We've had a long summer, which to a kid is like 14 years.
Yep.
That he just passed through. He comes back to this place, and teacher's talking to him in Spanish the entire time. He lasted maybe 2 minutes the first day before he's just like wandering around, like sitting upside down on the chair, like just I mean, it's just like it's like if we were doing dad jeans, and for the entire time you would be speaking English and I would be like, you'd be like, yes. And like, it's just nothing. It means nothing to him. And so we're switching him out. We're switching him into an English only class.
Yeah, I think you have to for this, these are strange times.
It just doesn't work. Yeah. It's sad to me because like I loved that Hazel was in this immersive program and she learned Spanish and she, it's been really great, I think, for so many things, like stimulating learning in a way that you don't get any other way, just like learning, like the confidence you build when you're like, I can figure out a completely different language and I can get by. Mm-hmm. Like that's a lifelong lesson, but we can't do it, man. It's too crazy.
No. Yeah. That's too bad. That is really hard. We also started this week and Oscar's teacher is not teaching in Spanish, teaching in English, but it is just as, I think, alienating for Oscar in a way. Yeah. In a way, not maybe quite as alienating as being in a language he doesn't speak, but
sure.
He has to sit there, and the teacher, God bless her, she's a very gentle, patient soul, and she spent the first couple of days just getting them used to the ridiculous interface. The LAUSD hitched its wagon to something called Skies, which is this unbelievably web 0.9 awful interface, and he has to do this, and he has to switch back and forth between that and Zoom. So a while I was like, you do like command and then hit tab and it goes back and forth, but then he selects the finder and then he's like, no, now you have to do it 2 times, and it doesn't make any sense to him, of course. And I'm like, fuck. And so eventually I was like, okay, we have to actually get 2 laptops up. This one has Zoom, and this one has a stupid fucking Skies program. Because the Skies thing, this LMS is the aka Learning Management System, is a way for the teacher to put in the lesson for the day, and then the kids to interact with it in this kludgy, stupid, awful. The whole thing's awful. And then she was trying to play videos for the kids, but she has a terrible connection. So the videos all look blurry and low res. And for a long time, we couldn't hear them. And so then I held up a sign that said, the checkbox is in the interface when you say share my screen. There's a checkbox that says share computer sound in the Zoom interface. And I held up a sign for her to see, which she eventually saw and read and then fixed it. But like I had to be... I can't have a job anymore. I'm Oscar's technical assistant while he does this, And so it was just all day long. Anyway, it was excruciating to watch because because there's so much dead air where she is like, no, wait a second. Oh, where's that setting? Oh, I think the checkbox is over here. And I'm watching all the other kids in the Zoom, and the kids are literally setting their own houses on fire out of boredom.
Yes, exactly. And someone there's someone at our school started this thing, or I don't know if this is just like a thing that people are passing around, but it was like, everyone write to the school board and say, here's what we need. We need a half hour twice a week of either personal one-on-one instruction or a small group of like 2 to 3 kids, because that's how Zoom works best.
Yep.
And then the rest of the time is like worksheets and activities that they can do on their own.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we need. We don't need 3 hours of the entire class sitting there on Zoom, because it just becomes a TV show then.
Yeah, exactly. And they're totally checked out. And
and a boring, fucking terrible TV show.
Yes.
This isn't the Democratic National Convention we're watching here.
No, it is. It is a boring. And the poor kid, I handed him a pile of Legos at one point because he has to fidget because he's got fidget energy. I mean, that's who kids are, you know. And so
yes.
And also being on mute but not being able to control it, and then like being like, so Oscar, you had a question? Wait, don't talk. I have to unmute you. Where's that unmute button? Wait, hold on. And Oscar's like, I want, and I'm like, wait, Oscar, wait. And so the whole thing was an absolute fucking nightmare. And so then so it's sort of like a metaphor for having ADHD. Like
right.
The world around this, you're supposed to be focusing on this unbelievably boring dead air thing, but the world around it invades so pervasively with snacks and more interesting shit, and you just have invasive thoughts the whole time. This will give ADHD to kids who don't already have it.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, it's not there's no magic like they already had trouble sitting in a classroom surrounded by friends, like listening to a teacher who was right there talking to them directly.
Yeah. Yep.
So like to have to like transpose, like we're really just creating an entirely new form of self-discipline.
Yeah.
That they can't even do the old form of self-discipline. You
exactly.
know?
It should be, and it could also be a series of, okay, watch this Khan Academy video, then do this worksheet. Now watch this video. So it doesn't, it could also not fall to the parents. Like the parents come and like queue up a 10-minute video about how to fucking parse a sentence or whatever the fuck you learn first.
Well-produced.
And well-produced, exactly. There's plenty of those. So the teacher doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. And then the teacher, I don't know what the teacher does, but and then they do like a worksheet or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So the teacher doesn't have to use this horrendous way of communicating to impart information. And
yes.
Oh, and here's the best part. There was a kid.
It's educational. Sorry.
So there was this kid. So she was sharing her screen and showing stuff. And there's some way in which when you do this in a Zoom, any participant can draw on it and annotate the presentation and have like arrows and circles and things like, well, Bob, if you look at the bottom of the TPS report, and that schmo can circle it so everyone can see it. So some little fucking asshole in Oscar's class kept drawing all over.
Oh God!
And she was getting all flummoxed and like, we can't go on if you keep annotating. Please stop annotating. And so then I'm watching. I started watching all the kids. I started to be like, who the fuck is doing this? Because it was really frustrating Oscar too.
Yeah.
Like, and over and nonstop, this kid was drawing on stuff. And so for 2 days, 2 whole days.
Oh no!
And so finally, I was studying I had my suspicion already, but anyway, I studied all of their movements while it was happening, and I figured out which fucking kid it was. And I wrote her a message, and I was like, I could be wrong, but I've been studying these kids, and I think it's blank. And she was and she, to her credit, was like, no, it's my fault. I found the setting that prevents them from being able to do that at lunch. But it took her 2 days to find the setting because she's just not necessarily tech savvy, nor should she be expected to be.
No, she doesn't have a fucking IT person. Like, yeah. You're fucking. I love it. You're fucking Poldark over here.
I had
finding out the.
I was ready to write his parents and be like, "Can you?" And he had headphones on and an iPad and was just bored. And you know, his siblings are somewhere else. Like his parents were like, "I don't give a fuck. Just disappear. Don't be in my life for a while," which is fine, and I get it because you need to do that as a parent. And they have jobs, I'm sure, like we all do, and it's fucking a nightmare. But this little bored fuck was ruining everyone else's day, and I was ready to go over to his house and just start breaking lamps,
lay the smack down.
Yep.
I can't see how this lasts more than 2 weeks. Like, it will. I don't, unless we're gonna just like continue telling ourselves this lie, which is really what we're doing in every facet of society right now. Mm-hmm. Like this lie that 5 million people aren't about to become homeless. 5 million perfectly decent, hardworking people are about to become homeless through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
Like that lie that somehow we're not talking about. Fucking Scott Simon in the morning. He's like, stocks are up. The Dow is up 300%. What's the blah, blah, blah?
When do we eat the billionaires? That's what I want to know. We got to find them. We got to eat them on live TV.
It's got to be coming, man. I don't know. Like I am ready for this revolution. I am there for it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to like sacrifice anything. I don't want to be on the front lines. I don't want anyone hurting me.
Right. No, that would be unconscionable as an American. But
yes,
but it's important.
I'm ready for someone else to.
Me too. It's time for someone to step up.
It is time. God damn it. That's like a Nancy Pelosi tweet. What Donald Trump is.
Yeah. That was the Hillary tweets all the time. We should be blah, blah. And it's like, should helps no one do anything. Of course, everyone should be doing something right now.
Yes. Who doesn't do that is fucking Elizabeth Warren. Every time she tweets, she has an actual plan of action.
God bless.
AOC does it too. Like they're just both like, here's what's happening. Here's what needs to happen.
Here's the actual easy solution.
Yes. They don't send out these trite like, someone needs to stop what Donald Trump is doing to the post office.
This is not who we are.
Yeah, exactly. This is not who. Yeah, this is who we are, dude. Yeah, that's what's happening.
It's very platitudinous, isn't it?
Platitudinous.
Yeah.
Do you have a grave new world to talk about, Brent?
Mine was only that. The experience of the teacher and the dead air. The dead air in the world.
Yes.
Maybe that's it. Like being even in grown-up meetings. Wait, you're on mute. Like I was on mute. Just now, like everyone is fucking on mute and doesn't know it. It's just the world is just full of dead air.
Just full of dead air. And I've been wanting to like figure out how one can take advantage of that in the same way that one would take advantage of like a sick policy. Like just be like,
yeah,
then you're done with work for the day. Blick, click out.
My mute button's broken or something.
Yeah.
So
sorry. Yeah. Next day you text everyone. You're like, sorry guys, technical difficulties.
Yeah. Couldn't unmute myself, and probably may never. And also I can't hear you anymore. But I'm gonna keep my job. I'm just not gonna come to these meetings anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's maybe that's a new segment. Is how do we skirt responsibility in the grave new worlds?
Right. This is hopefully bringing to the fore how useless meetings always have been. The only reason the 19-hour workday exists is because of stupid meetings, because half of any workplace is people defending the existence of their own job.
This is true.
And so you go in and they're like, I wasn't included on that reply all, and I need to be kept in the loop of this. Why? Because otherwise people will realize I'm completely irrelevant. And otherwise they'll realize this entire corporation is completely irrelevant and just skims off of, it's just all part of the horrendous socialism for the rich, capitalism for everyone else system.
I have not encountered that. I think working in a smaller company, it's like the meetings were actually talking about things, but that makes them even harder, is that I can't just zone out. Like we have like actual meetings about things that need to be discussed, and we're having 5 hours of those a day. And then I have to go and do the things that need to be discussed. And it's all, again, the lie that we're all telling ourselves, like that this is okay. Like that it's going to change. Like, I think we need to go into this with the feeling or the assumption that it will never change, and be pleasantly surprised if it does.
I wonder if the way to fix this, I'm just getting an idea here, in terms of these meetings and things like that. Have you ever used the app Marco Polo?
No.
It is a way to send people short videos of yourself. You can do this other ways too, but the only point of this app is this one thing. So like on text, if you take a video of yourself and you're like, happy birthday, and you sing happy birthday and send it so they have a video of you singing happy birthday or whatever, it's just that as an app. So you just send each other videos back and forth. And so maybe in the new world order, meetings don't have to be fucking conversation, which can be hideous, but instead I make a morsel, send, and then, within the next 15, 20 minutes, you make a 5-minute morsel reaction, you send, and then cue someone else who then sends a morsel reaction, so that people can like take a quick moment, react to something, send it off, and by the end of the day, you've both had a meeting, but mostly focused on what you have to focus on.
I like the theory, but you know how corporate America works, and that just invites Now you're getting Marco Polo videos every 5 minutes that you have to return your attention to.
Oh, right. And half of them are like, oh, wait, which button?
Yeah.
And the Luddites of the world belongs to the Luddites.
Oh, they own it.
We're all waiting for them to find the fucking checkbox.
It's true. It is true. We're all waiting for the checkbox.
Waiting for the checkbox.
That's what the world is right now.
So I can actually fold the next segment into this segment. I had an advise me, bro, but we don't have to do an entire whole other segment about this. I can just ask you right now.
Yeah, no. Let's do a theme song and then just make it quick because everyone loves theme songs.
People do like theme songs. Let's do it.
Advise me, bro, 'cause I just gotta know. I got a motherfucking problem and you gotta show. Advise me, bro.
Advise me, Jeffrey.
I'm here.
Speaking of this whole teaching thing, I, despite being a dyed-in-the-wool progressive member of the lunatic fringe left, complete liberal progressive Democrat, so democratic socialist, basically.
Yeah.
Do find public education to be a fucking disaster and wish that Oscar was in private school, because every private school person I've ever met is well-adjusted and successful, and every public school kid I've ever met has a computer job and is anxiety drenched and is having tough times. Public school produces, as we've discussed on the show, cogs. And private school produces leaders, And so I've often been like, fuck. And now I'm watching as Oscar's sparkle is dulled by having to have the right answer and all this fucking discipline. And then I can only imagine the rich kids right now are crawling around in a mud bog and eating worms and being animals, and then they're like, good job, come back tomorrow, but only be in your underwear. And they're like, blah, blah, because they can't even speak English yet, because they don't have to, because it's not some regimented bullshit. And then they go home and they're just animals at home because there's someone to clean up or whatever. And then then somehow, I don't know how this works, but then they become these opera composers by high school. So
right.
And so I'm watching as Oscar's getting Pink Floyd The Walled by public school right before my eyes, and it kills me. And I wish, and this is just all making it worse. And so please make me, if you can, please change my mind. Please make me feel like we're not destroying his imagination every time we report for duty.
Well, I can speak to this because I know the answer.
Oh, great.
No, I don't know the fucking answer. But I do know this, that I would be very surprised if private schools have a better handle on any of this than anyone. Maybe a slightly better handle, but it just, there are private schools where they're accepting students back and they have all these precautions in place. They're going to get outbreaks, man.
Yeah,
there are no precautions. You can't have precautions. This is a virus. And how pissed would you be if you're spending $20,000 a year or $40,000 a year to send your kid to a place where he ends up getting sick from COVID?
I'd be upset. From Barron Trump.
Yes, exactly. From Barron Trump coughs in his face, and all of a sudden your son is a werewolf or something. I don't know. I'm sure that whole family is crawling with diseases we've never even heard of.
That's probably true. Yeah, I know, but
I mean, you're right about the pre-COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's tough living your values. It's really hard living your values. My values say that we should have free public education that's great for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time that was a reality in this country?
Never.
I have no idea. I mean, no. I mean, definitely not all races, for sure.
No. There's never been equity nor equality in the United States.
No, absolutely not. And do we just submit to that, and that's the reality, and we don't try to make things better, and we don't try to commit to any values, and we just accept that that's the way that one gets through life? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
This is the fucked up thing. You have to ask it. I used to be like, what are you accommodating right now, Brendan? In the micro versus the macro. and the asphalt is made out of oil, which I only learned later in life. I didn't even realize that like the very streets we drive on are oil. Everything's oil, you know.
Everything's oil.
Everything's oil. And so here I am driving in a fucking combustible engine car on a fucking oil tarmac, and thinking like, boy, we should really do more for the climate or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's this, and so there's this micro macro discrepancy problem that is really hard to. And then we do this, you know, we gray water all our dish stuff, and we have to lug these fucking 5-gallon buckets out to the garden, and I curse it every time, and I'm like, I'm just gonna dump this. Can I just take a shower with that stupid orange bucket? You know what I mean? Then I have to fucking lug and all. Anyway, you're right. What you just said is exactly right. I am having a very hard time walking the walk. And if you talk to someone at a party who really walks the walk and is obnoxious about it, you're like, shut up, you know?
Sure.
So, what do we do? What do we do, Jeff? What do we do?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're, like you said, it's coming for them. The rich will be eaten, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just continue to make our world a living hell.
Jeff Bezos could end world hunger right now with a sixth of his wealth.
Oh yeah, he'd have a sizable amount of money left.
He'd have $59 billion left.
Yeah,
if he ended world hunger,
he'd be just fine. I don't know, but he'd rather transform Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a much better plan than fixing what we have right now, which is the Earth. I don't know. I mean, I definitely have those feelings, and like we go to like a pretty low income school. It's not, you know, there's a like fantastic parent body. The principal is incredible. They're really doing everything they can to like give a great education to kids who do not have the kind of privilege that we have. And it's just it's an upward slog. You've got fucking Betsy DeVos sitting up there at the top of the chain and just being like, no, you can't, unless you have at least 80% children of whose parents make over $1 million a year, then you won't be given any federal grant money. Like these arbitrary rules are like,
Jesus told me.
Yeah, Jesus said that this is how we're going to do things now. Like, 7/10 of your day must be devoted to Jesus's teachings, or we won't be giving you, but not the actual teachings,
not the actual Jesus, right? The prosperity gospel.
Yes, the ones in the DeVos manual to Jesus that we're going to be, that we're going to make every school pay for. Well, like,
do you remember when someone unmoored her yacht?
Yes.
That was great. That needs to happen every night.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't know. I agree. I have the same conundrum. I'm just like, because I see Eli and he's sitting there in this Spanish language Zoom class, and I'm just like, this kid, like, he doesn't even know his letters. Like, he's in first grade. Like, that's apparently normal for someone who is being taught in two different languages. Like, he mixes up the Spanish and the English letters, you know, because
he's got extra letters in Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's confusing to him. There isn't just one system that he's had drilled into his head. Mm-hmm. But I'm also just like, that wouldn't be so if he were getting the kind of one-on-one attention that you can get in a private school.
Yeah. Right.
It's just the teachers have to do the best they can with like a shitty hand, you know? And it's
short one-on-ones. That's totally the answer. I have to write the principal and be like, you're right. Even though the principal, if I were her, I would hate my guts. But I have to write it anyway.
I would hate all of our guts. I would just be like, stop bothering me. This is hell. Like, do you understand that I'm leading your children through hell? Like,
right. So I would love to make it more comfortable for you while I do. But that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Should we move in our next segment? Just before we move on to the next segment, and I flipped open Facebook, and there's an article from Forbes that says Judge rejects Betsy DeVos's plan to send federal funds to private schools.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't realize she was. I fucking hate that human being.
Oh, she's hideous. She's horrible human being.
And her brother ran Blackwater.
Two of the worst people on Earth.
The just most disgusting family besides the Trumps. We have a bunch of disgusting families in this country, and they're all rich.
That's so true. Let me just say quickly before we move into the next segment that this judge rejects Betsy DeVos's plan. Judges are fucking rejecting things left and right. It seems like they still always win. How does that happen?
Yeah, well, you can get around a judge.
Yeah, exactly. Every day you're like, judge rejects Trump's blah, blah, blah. Or judge says Trump has to show his taxes. He never shows his fucking taxes. Like,
no.
What are these judges doing? What does this mean? There is no law. Can we just accept the reality there is no law anymore?
Exactly.
Okay. Next segment is called Eating Our Words.
Eating our words. We never ever thought we'd be like this. Eating our words. Our past projections were horribly amiss, and now we're eating our words.
Brendan proposed this one. I honestly don't even remember this segment existing.
Oh yeah.
I know we have a theme song, but tell me about Eating Your Words.
Well, here's the thing, Jeff. I am as we've already discussed on this podcast, I'm part of the lunatic fringe of the left, progressive. And on Super Tuesday was very emotional for me because I have so fucking I'm not going to rehash this whole thing. Bernie versus the centrists and all that. And I've been a Bernie-crat for life. Well, actually, this year, I think I voted for Elizabeth Warren because I just felt like, she's the total package.
Sure.
But nonetheless, I am a progressive. And on Super Tuesday, I was trying to light up. No, I'm sure I've been shadow banned on Twitter and no one can see my tweets. But nonetheless, I was trying to light it up and just be and calling everyone Frady-crats, because everyone's voting for Biden, And I'm like, come on, you guys, this is our moment to actually get bold. But it'll never be our moment to get bold because this isn't a progressive country and it never will be. It only seemed like it was in the memories of our parents, but before I was born, you know what I mean? And so, because just lo and behold, all our parents were all like, I'm going to vote Biden actually. And I'm like, what? You're the people that you taught me to think this way. And Bernie is the deliverance of everything, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And so there are some real, even to now in all the social media, there are some very progressive people like me who are right now keeping it real in a way that I've already alluded to is really fucking annoying and being like, well, Biden is just going to be like Trump. And I'm like, no, he's not going to be just like Trump. It's going to be like it was during Obama. And that was much more preferable to what we have right now. Right now, we are living in hell. Yeah. And we have actual Nazis who are proposing the eating of actual handicapped children. Yeah. And so how about instead of that, we just go back to centrist policies that keep the rich rich and the poor poor? I'll take that over this for now, for another 4 years. Yes, the Democrats and Republicans, when it comes down to it, are basically the same when you get to a congressional level. Yes, this and yes, all these precious ideals that everyone has. But to not vote for Biden now is to be such a cockbag about your stupid little ideals, which I share. You know what I mean? Definitely turn up the heat. And Kamala Harris is a cop. Okay. Turn up the heat on Biden and Harris starting on November 4th. Give them hell, Yeah. But wait until November fucking 4th. And so I'm eating my words about being such a staunch staunch, angry progressive and the whole burn. I'm sort of eating my words. I have pivoted because we all have to fucking pivot because there's a two-party stupid system and we're stuck with it and it sucks and democracy is utterly mediocre at its best, but it's also the only good system we have. Yeah. So we're fucked. I'm eating my words. I'm going to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Well done.
Thank you.
The thing is, in 2016, I of course saw a nightmare coming as many millions of people did, as you did. I was perfectly fine. I won't lie. I mean, you can go back to the old podcast. I was excited about the idea of Hillary Clinton. I was excited for a woman president.
Sure.
I liked that. I liked my daughter having that vision. I liked just having that for our country. And obviously if Hillary Clinton was the president right now, there wouldn't be 175,000 fucking dead Americans.
Certainly not.
From a preventable disease. But yeah, I can still, like, having said all that, I could still sort of, the 2016 mentality where we need a fucking revolution, like the only way that's going to happen is for shit to like get terrible, like, and then that's when the revolution starts. Like, I can get with that. What I can't get with is we see how terrible it is, and there are inklings of revolution right now, but like there's no, to think that like now is the time to be like, yeah, we just need it to get really terrible so that there will be a revolution. Like, to still have that thought in your head, be like, to be like, okay, there wasn't a revolution on day one. Like, if there was going to be a revolution, it would have started on day one of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Where,
or maybe when there were kids in cages that were sex trafficked.
Yeah. Lots of great opportunities for revolution over the last few years. Yeah. Like, there are people in the street, and that makes me happy. Like, I love that. Like, there will be more people in the street if he wins, because I maintain that there is the dirty secret that the Democrats aren't talking about is that there is no legitimate way that Donald Trump will win this election. We will not accept any win. No matter whether it's legitimate or illegitimate. Yep. I think people are just going to assume it's illegitimate, because it is, because they fucking disenfranchised and suppressed voters. And that's what they're going to do again this time. And that's the only way to win. And so therefore, when he declares victory, there will be, no one will buy it. So that's that. And we just have to hope that our like hardcore pissed off people are bigger than their hardcore pissed off people.
Well, yeah, I've seen those Proud Boys. We can take them.
I think we can. I think the threat of the right wing revolution is way overplayed. Like, I think like at least half of those people are pushing 90. Like, their voters, I don't think are going to, they can't even fucking protest. Like, when has there been a sustained right-wing protest? Never in American history, ever. The left wing are the people who take to the streets. So anyway, but yeah, I just don't think, I agree with you. I mean, my reality of where I want this country to be is so much further left than what anyone, I think, is proposing. But I do think that at this point, like, when Biden's in office, if Biden gets into office somehow, if Democrats are strong for the first time in my fucking life, and they actually like take what is ours, we'll be at the mercy of time. Like, there is no, I don't think there is such a thing as centrism anymore. Like, I think the country is going to be so fucked up that the only possible solution is radical change. So I feel like whoever is in office is going to have to rise to the moment. And there are things that are going to happen that we could never imagine having happened before Trump. Like, I think now is the time where having the centrist there or having like a radical there doesn't really matter. They're all going to have to do the same fucking thing.
Oh, right. Because their hand will be forced by given circumstances.
By reality. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. You have no choice at this point. So you want the guy who's going to assemble like a decent team of people, and hopefully it won't be fucking, whoever, Larry Kramer, Larry Kramer I think was good. Who's Larry Kramer was the guy in the Minnesota airport, wasn't he? Who tapped his foot? No, I don't think so. The guy with the wide stance.
Yeah, the wide stance guy.
No, that wasn't him. I think Larry Kramer was an AIDS activist, but whatever. The financial guys who advise all of the
Larry guys. Larry Summers.
Yes, the Clinton
guy. That guy sucks. Him and Tim Geithner, those guys. And the problem is that Biden will hire all those jackasses from fucking and all the Milton Friedman bullshit neoliberal
That is the fear.
motherfuckers. And then it'll do the same thing. That's where it goes wrong over and over. And that's where Obama betrayed the left,
Yes.
is when he hired those two fucking hooligans. Yes.
And that's the fear, but I just don't know with whatever it's going to be, like 15% unemployment. Like, I still feel that the stock market crash is coming. Like, it's just going to be such a fucking disaster that I don't know if those old tried and true, like, let's stay the course, let's enforce austerity, like, those measures aren't going to fucking work, man. Like,
yeah. Hey,
so,
you know what? AOC is going to be old enough in 2024.
There you go, baby.
What up?
The Democratic Party isn't going to support her. That's really sad. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a bunch of radicals in this time around.
Yeah, and in the midterm.
So I had an Eating Our Words. It's not very strong, but so I think we should move on to the final segment of the night.
Oh, okay. Either way.
The things you loved and didn't love, either way they're gone.
Either way, it's gone. This is things that we miss about the time before we had children, or things that we do not miss about the time before we did not have children, before
Either
the
way.
time that we thought we missed what we had children.
This is the most difficult to explain segment, yet I feel also the most
beloved.
Perhaps I was thinking just the most kind of in the pocket for what we do with this podcast.
This is true. This is
it's
true.
so hard to explain, but I fucking get it, and I think other dads get it. Other dads understand. Like, you stand there and you watch all this stuff drift away from shore. Some of it sucked.
Either way,
some of it was awesome.
There's nothing you can do. It's gone.
That's gone.
That's a good way of describing it. Mine is a negative. It looks like I'm looking at the show notes, and it looks like you have a positive. Mm-hmm. But my negative thing that I so sorely miss, and especially now in COVID times, is doing the thing I want to do.
Well, I don't even understand what you're describing.
Exactly. Like having a thing I want to do and being able to do it.
Yeah. And imagine right then. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yes. And I had Sarah took the kids to Las Vegas to visit her mother maybe a month ago or so. So I had an entire night to myself.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't check Twitter. I didn't check Facebook. I didn't doom scroll because I could do the things I wanted to do when I wanted to do them.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, there's this movie I've been wanting to watch. I'm going to watch it. It's 5:00 in the evening.
Wait a second. Did you watch the whole thing?
I'm watching a movie.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, because I didn't want to watch the whole thing.
Even better.
I got 20 minutes in and I was like, I think I'd rather do something else. And I turned it off and did something else.
Incredible.
It was amazing.
Outrageous.
I know. And you just don't that to any potential parents out there who are considering having kids, just realize that thing that you take for granted, you completely take for granted. I'm going to go do this thing now. You can never do that again.
Never again. Here's the thing. And we're painting a very bleak picture. And it's a picture of a bleak thing.
Oh, sure.
But on the other hand, it bears mentioning that parenthood opens
take a bullet
up,
for him.
Take a bullet for him.
Yeah.
Parenting opens up a level of life that and a level of love that I feel like is almost inaccessible otherwise, unless you do really hard work in some other, I don't know, go to a fucking yoga retreat or some shit, or go to Costa Rica. But
if I didn't have my family, I would be fucking miserable. I can't. I don't want to say this. Please, we love and appreciate and respect any of our single listeners.
Sure, and we're so fucking jealous of you.
We are so jealous of you.
Yeah.
I just can't. I know myself. I would be so lonely during this time. It's got to be a very lonely time if you don't have built-in friends.
But do you remember my Hobbit house?
Yes.
Behind Bill Harris.
Yes.
The dearly departed Bill Harris. Did I tell you he passed away?
You did. Yes.
Yeah, that breaks my heart. I fucking love that human. In any case, I have sometimes thought, life had gone a different way, maybe I'd still be in that Hobbit house right now.
Yeah.
And which is a guest house I lived in 10 years
ago.
He
could have granted you the house. He could have gifted you the house in his will.
That would have been something else. Boy, that house was banana pants. That house belonged to Rudolph Valentino.
What?
At one point. Yeah.
No way.
So
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy. So Rudolph? Anyway, whatever.
The
heartthrob from the 20s to 30s. Any case, yes. I was like, what would it be like if I had been still in that little Hobbit house with the hot tub by myself during COVID? What would life be like right now? You know?
What would life be like?
Very odd. It was very. Anyway, I do think about that all the time. But going and doing a thing, thinking something striking you as being do-worthy, and then enacting that legislation.
Yes. Nope.
Gone.
Nothing do-worthy happening anymore in our households.
No.
I don't know. I could have. I mean, I'm pretty good at being alone. I think I definitely know that I would get real miserable during those times that I lived alone.
Mm-hmm.
I would just be like, I drank through my pain quite a bit.
Yeah.
More than I care to admit.
Yeah. I snacked and sat very still through my pain.
Yeah. It's good. Those were hobbies before children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is your Either Way It's Gone?
My Either Way It's Gone is this. I once found a recording of myself. I had this little pocket recorder before MP3 players, where, but it was digital, if memory serves. Maybe, I don't know. This was the year 2003.
Okay.
And I had this pocket recorder, and I would record like ideas, and I carried it around my breast pocket because I always wore button downs because I wanted to hide my body. And hide my gynecomastia. It's so hard. Even last night, let me just confess to our listeners because there's 77 of them. I was walking into Emily had a shoot yesterday in some house in Eagle Rock.
Because she's a cinematographer. We should say this every time you talk about her having a shoot. I think about a new listener who has no idea and they think like she's a hunter or something.
A hunter or does like
big game hunter.
Oh, yeah. Hi Oscar. Oh, look at that. That was awesome. That's excellent. I love that he came in right when I mentioned GP. In any case, yes. So fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I was walking into. And she's like with a crew, and I'm like, and she needed my help schlepping some sandbags or something. So I'm walking in. We went to pick her up, and so I'm walking in, and even at 45, I was wearing a t-shirt. I scratched my nipples really hard so they would shrink before I met anyone new.
Wow, lucky you! That's a thing
I do that, and it's just the thing I do because I have to do it because I have more
nipple than you care to.
Yeah, it's testosterone. What's the other thing? Estrogen. I have more estrogen than testosterone. What can I say? So, hiding my body, breast pocket, recorder. I'd walk around. One day, I left the record button on for 2 hours as I was in grad school. I was wandering around the streets of New Haven, running into people that I knew.
Okay,
and I found this years later, and I listened to it. And I wasn't drinking in that week because for some reason, I had I don't know why. Or
you give yourself challenges. That's something you do.
I am known. Yeah. So in any case, and everyone I ran into, I told that to, and I made the same joke over and over and over and over again. I had like 15 run-ins with people as I walked home, and because that was what's fun about New Haven in grad school. And 15 times I had the same exact. I steered the conversation, and then I had the exact same one, and then I made the exact same joke over, and it was. And listening back, I was like. Oh my God! I was so embarrassed.
Oh my God!
Seeing this person, and then fast forward a couple years ago, or last summer, we were at this party, and the boyfriend of a friend of ours was in the kitchen, and I was in the living room drawing with Oscar because he was sort of like he needed a lot of attention at this party, and it was a grown-up party for Emily's work. The boyfriend of our host. Did the same thing I did. Like as people arrived, he was receiving people in the kitchen, then sending them down to the backyard, and I heard him have the same conversation over and over again, topped off with the same joke. And I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And
oh my God.
And I felt like it just made my skin crawl listening. I felt so bad for the guy, and I feel so bad for the me back then because, and this is my Other Way It's Gone, back then I needed to find out who I was through other people.
Mm-hmm.
I had no fucking idea who I was. And I needed to watch people's reaction to me. But life is relentless. And so I would get a hold of a bit of material and drive it into the ground on every face I could get FaceTime with to get them to confirm something I couldn't confirm internally. And Jesus, was that exhausting for me and for everyone else.
But that sounds to me like a symptom of social anxiety, that you have to have this script that you're playing back, like in order to, because you're nervous about having to like actually discuss something or like come up with a new thought or respond to something,
or dead air, or be authentic.
It's dead air. Yeah,
or show up authentically. Emily, you ask Emily how she is, and she'll give you an honest answer. Yeah. You tell me, and I'm like, fabulous. And then
everything's great.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and she went to private school, and I went to public school. But she went to a place where her complexity was validated, and I went to a place where my complexity was beaten out of me. And so it brings it back to that. But I was so insecure before, but once Oscar was born, I mean, I thought life was relentless before Oscar was born. After he was born, like, I was so exhausted by this whole thing of parenthood. Not him necessarily. That, you know, he's doing his job very well. It's me and my lack of preparation for adulthood that I had to confront on a deep level when he was born. So what's gone now is the need for other people to be in any way a mirror to me. I don't give a shit what other people think.
That's
Everyone
fantastic.
can go fuck themselves.
Oh, wait, 1 second. My children are here.
Oh,
hey,
sorry.
What do you
It's
say?
4.
Hey, Hazel, Eli, what did you want? You need the laser? I don't know where it is.
Don't look directly into it.
Yeah, don't look directly into it, kids. Don't just shine it at the cats. Brendan, can I comment on something?
You may.
A wider thing. It seems like you're doing a lot of soul searching in COVID times. I feel like the last 3 episodes you have had something to say about the you that used to be, and how you don't want to be that anymore. You feel like you are not that anymore.
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Are you soul searching?
100% accurate. Yeah. I'm having this Fight Club moment where I always thought I was like everyone's favorite person for a long time. I had a very healthy ego. And then I've had all these, starting with this like very pointed Facebook message I got 2 years ago from someone in high school that I was cruel to. I suddenly was like, oh my God, that's right. I was cruel. And then that led me to be like, wait a second. I was cruel to a lot of people for a long time. Like anyone who showed me any kindness and wanted to be a friend. Like if you were my acquaintance, we had a great time together. But anyone who dared to become my friend, I eventually found a way to be really cruel to. And I could speak to like the boring, tragic backstory that led me to be that person. But there was a period of like 8 years where I was like I buried it all, and I thought like everyone loves me. And then it wasn't until I got this message 2 years ago and then did some serious soul searching since, where I was like, wait a second, I think I was exhausting. And sure, there was a part of me that was fun at a party, but there was also a part of me that was seriously underdeveloped and arrested, and led to me being mean, not in words, but in action to people.
Right.
And sometimes in words. And I've had to really face some of that stuff in the last couple of years. So that's true. Yeah. And COVID, and because parenting, there is no way to not show up authentically as a parent. You can't not. You have to. Parenting will reduce you to who you actually are, whether you want it to or not. And so there is simply no way to not become authenticized. I just made up that word. Authenticized.
Yeah.
By this act. And to authenticize yourself, you actually do have to be like, wait, I was mean to all those people. I should probably go back and apologize. Although I've
have you done
short
that?
of that. No. To this one person, I tried. Actually, that was weird. To this one person, I was like, oh my God. And I did a lot of work. And I went on walks. And I was like, holy shit, I'm so sorry. And I kept trying to start a conversation back with the person, but they just wanted to sort of drop the bomb and split, which is fine. That's their prerogative.
Yeah.
And so be it. But in any case, it's been a time of a lot of growing up.
That's good. But that's in the last 2 years, you said? You got that?
Yeah. Slash
Was
since
when you
Oscar
got that
was born.
message.
It started to go hardcore in the last 2 years when I got that message, and I was like, wait, oh yeah, I was mean. I was mean a lot.
You know what's the worst is when you get that message from someone in high school and then you're like, oh my God, I have to make amends, and you woo them back, and then you realize, this person's kind of a dick. Like actually this person kind of does suck. Now I know why I was so mean to them.
Right? Oh my God. I know, right? That is the next dimension of this, where you're like, because now, and then you see how they, you befriend people, and you're like, hey, I'm sorry I was such a, wow, the way you parent, I really object to that.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, Brendan, I think we sorted it all out today.
I think so.
I'm going to go eat my donut, which I believe is waiting for me out there.
Lucky son of a bitch. I'm having waffles.
I hate it. I hate all the nastiness. I haven't been able to run for like a month because I had an ankle thing, and I'm trying to fix the ankle thing, and I'm just getting fatter and fatter as the day goes on, my friend.
Peloton, baby. We just got some rich friends gave us one of them stationary bikes, and I got the Peloton app. I break a sweat every day. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds amazing if you have fucking rich friends who are going to give you a Peloton.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's not a Peloton. It's a knockoff, so it doesn't have the screen. But I have the Peloton app on my phone.
I don't care. It's still a stationary bike, which are hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, that part's true. That is true. Yeah, that is nice. Anyway, get one of those. Just buy one. It's like when you go to the Apple store and they're like, my screen's cracked. And they're like, well, just buy a giant iMac. What?
Yeah.
No, just fix my screen. And they're like, it's going to be the same amount as buying an entirely new, awesome phone that's $1,000.
Yeah.
Fucking Apple Store.
It's fuck all these guys.
Fuck all these guys.
Privilege. I'm looking into the face of privilege right now. All right, man. Well, you better go get on your Peloton and sweat out those calories.
Until the future, my glorious friend.
Yes, a bientôt.
A bientôt.